We are 5 Live. I'm BobbyT.
And I'm Tim.
And today we're talking about the SNES Classic, the Raspberry Pi, and some of the old school gear here.
Now, can I play Chrono Trigger on this bad boy?
I've got bad news for you.
I know.
Alright, so today we're going to start talking about the SNES Classic, which I'm really in love with, and a couple of the other options that we have available to us. Really.
Yeah.
So I guess we did bring kind of everything. SNES
A menagerie.
Here. Yeah.
Some older school stuff.
So this you kind of blew our minds with when you pulled this one out. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us what this is.
It's just the Super Nintendo Advanced fight stick.
Yeah, so with this one you
Or
could
Super
do...
Advantage, sorry.
Yeah, it was the Super Advantage. You could map your buttons and the speed and everything. You could do the turbo and the auto and all that stuff.
You literally controlled the speed of the auto with a slider.
Yeah,
kind of funny.
This was just really just an awesome joystick. You could even hit a little slow motion, which was really just, if I remember correctly,
pause.
It was just pause. It would pause.
Just turn pause on.
That's all.
Again, slider to make the pause go faster and slower.
So this was a really awesome piece. So Tim brought this over, and we really like that. So going on to, we'll talk about first, I guess, the Raspberry Pi.
Sure.
The Raspberry Pi is the option of most people who want to do any kind of real emulation, because it does everything.
Yeah.
It's relatively cheap. I think, what did we get this one for? It was like $50, I think.
Well, that was like the whole kit, yeah.
Yeah, so that's with the case, a memory card,
power cord.
Yeah, it's powered via USB. Also, it can be powered by the.
This is actually a Pi 1, so you can tell because it's got an actual AV jack, only 2 USB ports, and uses a full-size SD card. All the newer models use micro SD and have HDMI out, whereas this one, it does, but it's there, and it, with that plug being there, that's just.
Yeah, so we actually used this one for our stand-up arcade that we had made first. The next one we're going to be using the newer Raspberry Pi. It's a lot faster.
Stronger.
And we were saying also we're going to kind of curate the games that are inside of it. It's not going to be everything that's ever existed.
7,000 games is a lot.
Yeah, we really have everything in that. But we're going to go a little different direction with it. One of the things that I like to do with the emulation, especially here on one of our machines, is I use the USB controllers.
Yeah.
You can also use these with your regular computer or Mac, and it's basically the same emulation files, the same ROMs and emulators for both platforms, really. So this is one of the controllers, which is the Nintendo one.
Classic NES.
Now, it's good, but it's thin, like it feels empty. Almost the difference between when you hold this one, there's a certain heft to it.
Yeah.
And it really feels like the difference between driving a Toyota versus driving a Mercedes. You just feel kind of the weight and the quality in what you do. This one's a little tighter, I think, on the buttons, and that's not actually good.
Well, I mean, this one also has 500,000 miles on it, so.
That is also very true. The forward button on this is just absolutely gone, but this is so tight.
If you press harder in Mario.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was definitely a thing back then. You had to lean too.
Oh, you were that kid.
Yeah.
So,
and the swinger.
Also, you have the concave buttons on here versus the convex buttons on this one, and it really does make a difference in the feel, I think. So, with the Super Nintendo versions, I gotta tell you, this new SNES Classic is amazing.
Yeah.
It feels just like, and we actually
it's definitely the same mold. This is...
Here we go. So let's separate these.
That's the USB one.
This is going to be the USB one that you can use with the Raspberry Pi or your, like we're saying, laptops. Any emulators are going to be able to use this.
These things are kind of a pain in the ass, though, in buying them. Sometimes you are better off spending money. Like, I bought a few, and a couple of them, the buttons are just shoddy. Like, remember at the church thing when we were playing, one of them was just
It just
janky.
went.
Like, you would just start walking for no reason.
Yep.
There's definitely brands out there. I think Buffalo is one of the ones on Amazon that's a little more pricey, but it actually is going to work.
When we say pricey, we're talking like $20.
Yeah, 20, 30 bucks.
As opposed to
this $8 one.
Yeah, I think this one was like $8 or $9.
Yeah.
This hasn't really screwed me yet, but we have a different one that has been really, really bad. It's interesting, though, it takes the color scheme of actually the Advantage.
Yeah.
So the real pad, though, however, this is the one for the Classic. And let's get this out of here. and this is the one for an actual Super Nintendo that Tim here had brought. They made this thing perfectly. It feels right. It's got that right weight. The difference is, however, like there is a texture on this one, not on this one, not as much.
I mean, it might have worn off. Who can remember as a kid, you know?
Well, I mean, you can tell in certain spots. It's definitely this is just better, newer plastic, I guess. But I think the button layout is perfect.
They're identical.
It's an identical thing. I mean, I remember opening the pack, even we did an unboxing with Kriza, and I opened the thing and just immediately was like, oh, that's it right there.
Yeah.
I really like the Wii Classic Edition controller with the controller cord that comes out of the bottom, but you know, this is king. So one thing I do want to talk about, and I had mentioned before, is the latency issue.
Yeah.
I think while I enjoy emulators, there are some games where you just can't, they're not playing around. Like, you have microseconds to do certain button pushes.
Yeah.
Especially in games like Street Fighter. That's one where really, like, the difference in me getting my Hadouken out versus you blocking is really that split moment.
And it definitely has to do with the actual emulators. That's why I guess it wasn't, I never owned a Wii U, but I guess with the Virtual Console on that system, each game was wrapped in its own emulator that was optimized for that specific game. So you essentially downloaded an emulator every time you downloaded a new game, which is, you know, that's definitely like one of the best, safest ways to emulate is to have it optimized per game. Versus, you know, I mean, there are a lot of good emulators out there.
So with this, there's little things that I notice. So I did start, we had talked about on the episode with Kriza where to start, what game to play first. Kriza had decided to play Super Mario World first, so I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it too. That's perfect. So I'm playing through it right now, and I'm already noticing the little differences. There are certain things you can do speedrun style, where it's jumping up platforms, or just kind of jumping off into nothing, and the timing of the piece. Here it's dead on.
Yeah.
I can feel it. Here, sometimes it's maybe not exactly, maybe you miss a frame, or you go to jump and it registered in a different spot, so you jump a little over or whatever. That's not really happening here.
Yeah.
Another thing is graphically. It has the SNES had the 2 layers that they always like to play with. When Mario puts the key into the lock to unlock whatever secret pathway, the lock hole opens and then it sucks Mario in. That's on this. On the emulator, the ROM, I've never seen this work. The key opens and it's supposed to swallow Mario, but instead it's just Mario standing in the same place.
Yeah.
And then they just go on to the next thing. It's little things like that have been patched up here.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this thing, man. We got to get you one, because I think you're just never gonna leave the house.
Nah.
Even more so than already.
Yeah, I already don't leave the house.
Just another reason to not leave the house. So, what game were you looking forward to on here?
Earthbound, since Chrono Trigger's not there.
Yeah, no Chrono Trigger, which is weird. We had talked about that. There was no, like, Square Enix didn't really show, and then we're like, wait a minute, Final Fantasy 3 is there.
Yeah.
And
the co-op
and Mario RPG is on there. So how did we miss Chrono Trigger? I don't understand that.
Licensing and crap, you know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The one thing that makes me kind of nuts about this, however, is it does have the USB in. So hopefully, maybe we can get some downloads later. It feels like there's a few games missing from here that I really want.
Yeah.
And it's first party stuff, so it should be there. There's no Mario Party, which is kind of weird, but you don't have the ability to. Wasn't the first Mario Party SNES?
Was it? No, I think it was N64.
N64. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm off.
Or GameCube.
No, it was N64.
No, it was N64.
It was N64.
Yeah, because that's all the people get the fucking.
Yeah,
you get that
your
circle in your
rubbed up.
palm because you.
Now, you know, it's funny actually going to arcade games briefly. Street Fighter versus X-Men. I had that.
Yeah.
From playing and at the arcade and just constantly to like Hadouken.
Yeah.
So I had like my hand here was just this red, just sore piece of red that for like a week I just had to like live with it until I went back to the arcade on Friday night and just. So yeah, I don't know. I really still enjoy this. This is king. I think obviously if you can get your hands on one right now, We have rumors that they're coming out here and there. They're dropping all over the place.
Supposedly, they're also making more classics.
Yeah, there's going to be more. They kind of
classic
realized.
NES.
Oh, more classic
Yeah.
NES. I didn't know that. I knew that they were going to ramp up production on this. So what have you heard on that?
They just said they're going to do another run of it.
Okay. Did you hear numbers on a run, or is it just a generalized?
It's a general Nintendo statement.
Okay, so I guess we have to maybe scout out World of Nintendo. Maybe take a quick trip to New York. Chris is behind the camera like, he's just shy of doing this. He's sitting in the chair. He's also about to fall asleep. He's not going to fall asleep. The Yokai Watch is keeping him awake. Alright, so guys, with that, we have been 5 Live. I am Bobby T.
I'm Tim.
And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are at the 100 mark. On Saturday night, October 21st, we're going to be doing our subscriber drawing. So if you make your subscriptions public, we have your name. We are going to do the drawing. We'll get in touch with you. We also are doing 5 Live Toy Picks as the hashtag, and that is your favorite picks. We have a first, second, and third place. Tons of toys, the stuff we've been opening on the show. And you okay over there?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's mesmerized.
I just don't know if I like that design choice.
What's that? To
The
pull
whole
the front?
flip front thing up.
So, I mean, we had a whole video. You could have talked about this.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh, jeez. Remember, guys, you bought it because you loved it, and that's all that matters.